Are you attractive? Crazy how those 3 words just generated all these emotions within you. Maybe positive, maybe negative, but regardless, you're already consciously or subconsciously analyzing yourself. In fact, you've already analyzed me, deeming if I'm attractive or not. But while I don't know your answer to that question, I do know your answer to this one. Would you like to be more attractive? We'd all love to walk into a room not having to worry about how people perceive us. The girls turn and give us the look. Men treat you with a higher level of respect, and it seems like this non-stop flow of opportunities come your way. And while sure, being attractive won't solve all your problems, being unattractive is probably the biggest problem you can have. Because studies have proven that unattractive people on average make less money, have higher levels of anxiety and depression, and obviously get no bitches. But the truth is, regardless of where you're at right now, you have the ingredients to become more attractive than you can possibly imagine. Growing up, I was bullied for my appearance. In middle school, I was constantly ridiculed for how skinny I was, for how weirdly narrow my face is, my big nose, my ears, everything was just kind of disproportionate. And while I grew into my features slightly, entering high school, which in a small town was quite literally just a hierarchy where you're ranked on how attractive you are, I fell much lower than where I would have liked to be. I wasn't as cool as I wanted to be with the guys, and girls did not give me the attention or validation I desired. This led me to the gym, which did change my appearance. I started to put on a little more muscle, I gained a little bit of confidence, but over the years I realized something was still wrong. It still felt like there was this invisible wall between myself and the people I desired to be connected to, whether male or female. And it wasn't until years later that I learned the alchemy of attraction and completely transformed. Everyone started treating me differently. I was making and holding eye contact with girls, they would approach me, but most importantly, I'm seeing myself differently, which caused my confidence to skyrocket, which consequently made me even more attractive to other people. And I began reaping the rewards of what is known as the halo effect, which is a scientific phenomenon that states that people that are perceived as attractive are also by default perceived as a better person, more intelligent, and more successful without you even uttering a word. Let me explain how the alchemy of attraction works. So as we know, attraction isn't just looks. It's a myriad of all these different traits that you display that combine to influence someone else's opinion on you. And some of these things are internal. These are things within you, within your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, that influence your attractiveness, because they then go and influence the external, the things you display into the world. This could be your body language, your facial expressions, even the way you dress. And the thing about this that a lot of people don't understand is that there's a relationship between these. They play off of each other. It's a positive feedback loop. So you do something externally that then influences how attractive you perceive yourself, and then you begin to behave more attractively, and then that influences how you perceive yourself, and it's this upward spiral, and the more it goes, the more attractive you become. For a relatable example, you get a haircut that suits your face really well and you feel more attractive. So that influences your self-image. And because your self-image is influenced, you then begin to behave more attractively and you open up maybe your body language. And then that causes people to react to you differently, which internally reinforces this belief that you're attractive. And then all of these things go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And over time, you become more and more attractive because the internals and externals are playing on each other and they just multiply over time. And this also works negatively. For example, you go to a party and you smell bad and girls are repulsed by you, and that lowers your self-image. So then you close up your body language and people react to that, and that affects your self-image, and it can just whittle you all the way back down to low attractiveness. And that means that traits and actual appearance are inseparable when it comes to attractiveness, which goes against all of the black pill belief that, oh, it's all about looks, it's all about your bone structure, it's all about your genetics. And that's the issue with a lot of how to be attractive content on YouTube, is that they only focus on the externals, but a lot of the times those externals are used to mask the deep-rooted insecurity and the self-image of the person. And when you still have a low self-image, you subconsciously communicate to the world that you are unattractive because that's how you authentically perceive yourself. So if you have a low self-image, you're basically walking out to the world every day with this giant sign on your chest that says, I'm unattractive, don't treat me like I'm attractive, don't perceive me positively, and it's communicated subconsciously to everyone around you. So here's how you can leverage the alchemy of attraction so you can unlock your highest potential of attractiveness. Starting with the externals, listen, looks do matter. And unfortunately, we all spawn in with different features that we cannot help no matter what we do, besides things like surgery. But the issue comes when we fall victim to spotlight syndrome. This is our tendency to hyper-focus on our flaws and thus think everyone else is also hyper-focusing on our flaws, and thus we try to conceal them, we behave more insecure, or we simply assume that no one would be attracted to us because of these flaws. But if there's anything we have learned from Stoicism, it is that the best way to live is to not care about the things out of your control. Pay no mind to the features that you truly can do nothing about, because paying mind to it is literally self-sabotage and is going to make you more attractive than the features themselves. Instead, take all that mental energy and focus on the features that you can control. For me, there was 4 things that seemed minor at the time, but once I changed them, it completely changed my look, starting with my skin. I had a pizza face, acne, and while of course some of it's genetic, some of it's health, some of it's this, that, and the other, it was ugly. It looks bad. It reflects that my skin is bad, therefore my health is bad, therefore my genes are bad. But instead of just accepting it as a factor of life, I never gave up on trying to fix it. I cleaned up my diet, I tried face wash after face wash, moisturizer after moisturizer, I tried hot water, I tried cold water. The answer is cold water, by the way. And finally, a culmination of finding the right products for me and cleaning up my diet and washing my damn pillowcase resulted in my skin being infinitely more clear now than it was. Secondly was my hair. When I was really young, I had a Justin Bieber haircut, and then as I got older, I started to slowly push it all into the front, have this little swoop, and it looked fine, but one thing it did was it amplified my oval-shaped head, and it just looked boyish, it just looked immature. And part of this was the fact that it's all I knew. I was scared to try anything else, and when I went and got haircuts, I would go and get like the $15, $20 haircuts you get at the mall. But then I decided to try something different. A middle part, grow out the backs, and I went and got a haircut from a guy who charges over $100 for men's cuts. But that's because he's an expert. He knew exactly what to do to fit my face. And once I switched and I looked at myself in the mirror, I was like, dang, yo, who is this? And people started treating me a little bit differently. My girlfriend started saying it looked handsome. Everyone liked it because I looked more mature. And maturity is in line with masculinity. There's a balance to be had with your wardrobe because on one end, you want to wear things that suit your frame, that amplify certain features, but on the other end, you don't want to wear things that deep down you don't actually want to wear or that isn't in line with your personality. For example, in high school, I either wore very baggy long sleeve shirts to school or I would wear very, very tight sleeves because I wasn't blessed with the best arm genetics. And over time, I've also tried different colors, different graphics, all these different things to try to get attention from others, but then I realized there's a balance. Because one, yeah, I like arms, I like shirts that slightly hug my arms and that they're loose around the midsection because I'm not exactly shredded down there, but I don't like wearing lots of colors. Even if the designs are awesome, it's just not me. So I found the balance where I'll wear t-shirts that fit decent, but they're always just plain earth colors, and most of the time just black shirts. Could I go out and learn all the color science to match my skin tone to maximize attractiveness? Yeah, but that's not me. I like my black clothes. And fourth, which was the most surprising by far, was when my girlfriend influenced me to start plucking my eyebrows. And I remember the first time I did it, she did it, and she was like, wow, oh my gosh, you look so handsome, what the heck? And I go and look in the mirror, and I did look noticeably different. I couldn't put my finger on it. I didn't know what changed, but then she explained, your eyes just look so brighter and more expressive. And she was right. And what this does is, because my eyes look brighter, it draws more attention to my eyes, and overall it makes my face look brighter. And since, you know, the halo effect, it makes me as a person look more bright. And 2 bonus things I'll mention is, yes, I do Mew, and there was phases where I was trying to do jaw exercises to work on that, and currently I'm implementing neck training to make my neck a little wider. And another thing you could try that some people have really good benefits with is a gua sha. This is this tool you use when you do your face care routine. Essentially, it moves all of the excess fluid out of your face, which reduces puffiness and makes you more chiseled in the face. But the other thing that opens a whole nother world of attractiveness and how people perceive you is owning yourself. Instead of just ignoring your flaws, own them, embrace them as parts of yourself because they truly are. It's what makes you different from anyone else around you. It is infinitely more attractive to be the short guy who just owns the fact that he's short and doesn't really care, doesn't mind the jokes, and embraces it, than the short guy that wears platform shoes and walks around on his toes, because we've all seen that guy before and we all know, haha, you're insecure. And over time, especially once you master the internal parts of things, you don't even see your flaws as flaws anymore. You just see them as you. But you might be wondering, okay, what about body language? And while I could go all in on all these body language tactics, different poses, this, that, and the other, obviously being more open communicates that you are more confident and calm in the environment that you're in. But the reality is, when you master your internals, this is just communicated subconsciously to the world. You subconsciously get better body language. So let's talk internals. First, you need to kill your comparisons. And honestly, this means you probably need to get off social media. A study was done in 2014 that showed that when people were exposed to pictures of ideal people, aka they saw a bunch of pictures of hot people, that negatively impacted their own self-image and their own body image. And what does that do? It makes you subconsciously behave more unattractive. Plus, when you see more people through the internet than in real life, you are getting exposed to much more outliers compared to the average person. But that programs your brain to believe that, oh, this is the average. These outliers are the average. Damn, I must be super duper below average. Well, that's not the case. But while we're on the topic of the internet, guys, you need to avoid porn at all costs. As someone who was addicted for the majority of his life, it had the most damaging impact on my self-image, on my confidence, how I perceived women, and of course, my attractiveness. Because 1, you are exposed to outliers, both male and female. 2, porn is scientifically proven to affect and negatively alter the way you view people in reality. And 3, you are mentally yourself. Think about it. The reason we want to be more attractive at the end of the day is due to the fact that we are wired to optimize for mating. But what are you telling your subconscious mind when you are watching 2 other people get it on? Oh, I'm the guy that watches 2 other people get it on because I can't get it myself. Also, I don't know about you, but people who consume a lot of pornography, you can see it in their face. In this aspect, physiognomy is kind of real. I remember when I met up with a friend at the gym and something about his posture, his eyes looked puffier and droopier. I could tell something was off, and I knew what it was, but I didn't want to say anything until he turned to me and said, I've been relapsing on porn. But I have a question for you. If I suddenly snapped my fingers and you became twice as attractive as you currently are, how would you act? How would you think? How would you behave in social settings and even on your own? That is how you need to behave now, from now on. Because the next step is act as your attractive self. Because what this does, even if it feels a little forced or a little weird at first, even if it feels like you're role-playing as your attractive self, is you begin to reprogram your subconscious mind and alter your self-image, which is the true belief you hold deep down about yourself. And it starts to believe, oh, I am this attractive guy. I'm doing all the things that the attractive version of myself would do. I must be attractive. And on the flip side of this, you need to avoid the negative self-talk, which is easier said than done, but a better habit would be build up your skill of mindfulness so that when these negative things about yourself pop into your head, you don't identify with them, and then they'll just disappear over time. And as you know, if you've watched any of my videos, the best practice for this is mindfulness meditation. And if you want to know exactly how I do it and let me guide you through it, I have a free 5-day series in the description. Next thing you should do, which is kind of internal, kind of external, is embrace your mystery. What we tend to want to do, because we want people to like us, is we want to just put everything about us out on display, all our best attributes. Look at me, look, I have all these things, I'm worthy of love, I'm worthy of attention. And all that does is communicate scarcity, communicate that you are desperate to get these things that you don't have, and thus you're throwing all aspects of yourself out there. Whereas if you think about movies, if you think about reality, who are women attracted to more often than not? The mysterious guy. For example, if I were talking to a girl and I would be like, oh, I have this many subscribers and these views and da-da-da, this, that, and the other, she may think that's kind of cool. But if I were to say, oh, I don't know if I can tell you what I do, it's kind of a public thing, I do content, I'm online, marketing, all of a sudden her mind goes crazy thinking, oh, what, he can't tell me? Is he an actor? Does he do content? Does he do content? Therefore, both within yourself and in social situations, lean into this mysterious persona. You don't have to give away everything about you. If anything, saying the bare minimum necessary creates more intrigue, but don't be a dick about it. Next, this is going to trigger people, but it is the reality of the world, and that is, you need to climb a hierarchy. From the moment we began mating as a species, females ranked males based on a hierarchy, and males ranked females based on a hierarchy. Of course, for females, they looked at men like, okay, which one is the best hunter, is the most physically dominant because I want their genes and I want them to provide food for me. And with men, it was like, oh, which one has the most childbearing features and indicators of youth and health. And while those still ring true in some aspects, thankfully, we live in 2024, and there are so many different hierarchies for you to climb, And when you climb one, it makes you more attractive. That is why there are pro gamers that have hot girlfriends. There are UFC fighters that have hot girlfriends. There are actors that have hot girlfriends. There are even plumbers that have hot girlfriends. There are business guys that have hot girlfriends. It's just interesting. It makes you more attractive, the fact that you are in some sort of hierarchy, some sort of ranking, and you are climbing the rank. And what's interesting is you don't actually have to be at the top of a hierarchy to attract people, because people are also just attracted to the fact that you have a purpose that you are working towards, because it's infinitely better, obviously, than someone who's a complete and utter loser that has nothing going for them. Which is why even if you're not sure what hierarchy you should climb, you should embrace true self-improvement, which true self-improvement is constantly working towards that higher version of yourself and killing off the current. If anything, the act of you becoming more and more and more attractive is you also becoming a higher and higher and higher version of yourself. But there is a complete other side of this I'm not able to cover that will make or break if people like you, if people are attracted to you, your success with men, your success with women, and that is your social skills, how you actually communicate and speak to others. So if you click the video on the screen right now, I explain the 7 habits that will make you insanely likable. Click it now, become more charismatic, maximize both these things. Thank you for watching. I love you. Bye-bye.